Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline Studio. I'm Sybille Muschik and behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. It's all about the color purple today. And I've started with a collage. I just ripped a bunch of magazines to shreds and glued them down and had a lot of fun with typography and trying to get as many different varieties of purple as we could. So this takes a fair amount of time, so I'm not doing this on camera today. And then what we do is I take a photograph of it, and we do a lot of things on the program, my iPhoto program. And I adjust the brilliance, the shadows, the contrast, the color warmth, the saturation, and the vibrance, and the cast. And those I put almost to the top. You'll see what kind of adjustments you need to make to get the most brilliant color. So as you can see, it's highly saturated. We lose a little bit of the lighter colors, but that's okay. We'll do that on the second level. So, just want to show you some of my results. The first one I pulled, I had a black one, and it's interesting and fun, but we lose a lot of, the details. So black really doesn't have a high saturation, and for getting transfers, you need to use less of it and use more of other colors. Things like Prussian blue or ultramarine and diazazine violet are good colors to use. Now I've got a golden diazazine purple. Oh, and it's a horrible price, $27. Gosh. Anyway. And but you don't use purple very often. And it's kind of a problematic secondary color. It's often too intense. You really need to push it the other way, maybe gray it down, take it up a notch, add a little bit of white. There's lots of things you can do with purple to make it work in your favor. So, but for transfers, and I have a number of them here. I'll show them a little bit more later. Here's a not bad transfer. And a lot of people have trouble with transfers, so we want to just go through some basics. And I'm going to just use our deep colors, the ultramarine blue. We want it as dark as possible. I'm going to use a touch of this. It's the golden is quite fluid. This is a heavy body acrylic, and it's very intense. And we're mixing it a bit with Armstrong, or the Amsterdam colors, yeah. It won't transfer well if it's too heavy, so keep your paints fairly light, but not so light that they dry before the transfer occurs. So that's almost transparent, but not quite. But you can see the intensity of the color. Just making sure, and that's about right. So we're just going to flip it on there. That's so I can line it up properly. So I'm using my Baron to get total coverage, and I'm not using a lot of heavy pressure. And you wait about 40 seconds, something like that. You can peek at it to see if it's transferred. Oh, and it's looking lovely. There you go. So that was just the right amount. And just to let you know, you can reuse these about 3 or 4 times. So now we wait, let it dry, and we add a color that will lift this whole thing. And because we're working with purple, you know, it's a royal color and it goes well with gold, and so we'll mess around with gold a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of, this is warm gray. And again, less is more. And some of the gold. And you have, of course, have brayered off your brayer really well. Doesn't matter if you've gotten it all off, but okay. So you brayer this color on, but only enough, and you should be able to see the image below. So that's a little bit too much paint. So brayer it off until you can see the image. Now we had that gold blob there. A little bit more. This is a critical step, and I think this is why a lot of people have trouble with the transfers. You might just have either not enough paint or a little bit too much. This is just a Staples acid-free. It's a fairly smooth, so it's a little bit of coated stock. Now in this case, you do want to add a little bit of weight. The opaque colors tend to lift these kinds of transfers better than transparent colors for some reason. And look at that, we've got almost everything off. There's not going to be a ghost print. And there's your transfer. And now we get to play a little bit. So we're going to try some different papers. We're going to try a variation in color. So the next one we'll use is this is tissue paper that is the heavy strength tissue paper. So we're just going to reuse this one just to show you that it does work. And now I don't know about the black. Remember we had trouble. And, oh, this might be Prussian blue. Okay, that's all to the good. And a little bit of ultramarine. I'm being very careful not putting too much paint on. And a tiny bit of our, what is this red anyway? And these, I have to write a letter to Amsterdam Paints because you cannot read, you know, and the more you use it, the more the label. So it's some kind of a crimson. So it should be on the top. Critical artists, we're always complaining about stuff. So I'm brayering off again until it, I think you can sort of see the difference when it's almost like it's becoming transparent, but not quite. I know that's not a really scientific term. Let's put it the other way again. Now we're reusing that first one. I have extra here if I need them, but you'll see that it does work. So you can get 3 or 4 good prints, transfers, just from the same photocopy. Remember, a light touch on this end of it. And overall about 40 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds. See, and it's looking really good. All right, this will probably, it's a little bit lighter than the first one, but I think we're going to get a good transfer. Okay, let's use our pink. The pink has white in it too, and you need an opaque color to lift a good transfer. Okay, so pink, and maybe the yellow. Okay, copper. Cooperate. It's not cooperating. We'll just use the gold. Okay. Because we have that opaque color, it should lift off really well. Now we can't see underneath there yet, so it's too much paint. The camera will pick up when it's just right, so as soon as you start seeing the lettering, almost, see? Do it fairly quickly so it doesn't dry. And let's print. Let's try this tissue, wet strength tissue paper. It took me forever to send for this stuff because they had sold out at Amazon. And then finally I was able to get it. So I've been wanting to try this stuff for a while. And it wrinkles a little bit, but if you go back to some of my previous sessions, we did one on wrinkles, and that was so much fun. We'll post the number of that episode. Okay, here we go. I could have maybe waited a wee bit longer. Let's just put it back. That's possible. Not so easy because it's not quite as stable a paper. So you might end up, you know, with it being a little offset. Okay. That's better. Not leaving so much paint behind. Now there you go, and we're getting all of the type pretty well. It's a little paler, but you know, we're working with paler colors. And the purple is standing out really well. So, another successful transfer. Now the next one, we'll try, and this is just our Prussian blue again. A little more of the red, just a hair. Trying to be more careful. With we have to add some blue and red because otherwise it won't be purple, right? So, and that's what we're working with today. Okay, again, quite a bit too much paint. There. Now when you get it to be really transparent, you've probably gone a little too far, so we will see. And now in the past, when I did these transfers, when I was using Blanc, I was double printing it and then having to wait a day for it to work. But with these colors, you don't have to wait at all if you do, as I said, with a computer. So, okay, 40 seconds, 30 seconds, are you counting? And we'll see. Now look at that. All right. Okay, I have found my oriental paper. This is mulberry paper. Now I don't know if you can see all the beautiful details of this paper. You can see the fibers. So in this case, we are using sort of a fuchsia and purple color. And it seems to work just fine for transfer. I didn't see any like blanks in areas because the paint wasn't working. So there are a great many variations to purple, as you can see. All the tints of purple. Everything right through to a blue purple. Oh, at the end we'll take up the collage again. I'll show you some of those things. Now we're getting to the point where it's transparent. As soon as we start seeing all the typography shining through. And that's really important, otherwise you've got too much paint and some of your details will be blurry. Okay, now we might have gotten a little too far here. I'm just going to add a little bit more weight in. So paint's actually, when you go too far, it actually starts lifting the paint, which is not good, which means it's drying. So something we've learned. All right, I'm not sure this one will turn out because of that. But we can always use medium. And yes. So what we're going to do is our trick that we've often done before. And we're just going to use some matte medium. On both ends if your paint is dry. And then it'll pick everything up. So you can see how fast that happens. So you have to be fairly speedy. And we might just try this one again. Of course, it would be on my nice paper if that happens. And we're going to leave that to sit. We'll take another interlude. So I think the matte medium kind of saved the day here. Let's see. You just got to wait for it to dry a little bit. And it's picking it up really well. Okay. So we can read most of the type. Now there's some areas it didn't pick up. That's probably matte medium. I haven't totally let it dry yet, but still, you know, it's not a bad print at all. Don't forget, this is now the third generation that we've used that So, okay, let's try it with white again. Just another color and a little bit of the dioxazine purple. Now, is that a fun one to pronounce? And we can just vary it a tiny bit with. So we learned a little bit about mixing as well. We'll add a little bit more of the blue to it. We'll just add a little bit of the pink to it and just instead of white. Sort of end up the same way. Okay. See, it doesn't take much paint at all. So you can get at 3 good prints for sure. The 4th one might be a problem. So we'll try it again with a good photocopy. And now to tell that you've got maybe a little bit too much paint is that image is going to have sort of paint but no detail. So then cut back on the amount of paint you're using, and that's how we learn. Okay. Okay, so this one might have had a little bit too much paint, you see? Okay, well, we'll print it and see what transpires. And I think it's pretty well dry. So we'll use yellow. This is Naples yellow, I think. Yep. A little bit of the pink. So if you're using that purple, be sure and use it with an Amsterdam paint. Not all paints work. It seems that the Amsterdam paints work the best for transfers. And I think some of the Liquitex, I don't have a lot of Liquitex colors, so let's just print it on coffee paper again. All right. Now you will have noticed some of these background colors I'm using. Those are the colors that work well with purple. The more grade tones will take down the intensity of the purple. Adding white helps. It makes a tint out of your purple. And usually when you start, like if you're a painter as well as a printmaker, then we usually add a little bit of white to bring out the color so we know where we're at. And it lifted it up beautifully, and it's not really a bad print at all. There you go. See, be in your moment. So let's have a quick look again at the collage. And in the collage, you'll see some of the colors that work really well. These are all grade tones. A lot of them are, and then getting maybe towards the red end more. you know, like your fuchsias and so forth. And then you get to the blue violets and, you know, adding white again. Some of these cerise colors that are much lighter, again, towards the red, burgundies. All those things are parts of purple. So lots to play around with. And have fun. Put your own collage together, give it a photocopy, take it to a print house that has good saturation of color, or if you have a laser printer yourself, you can do it that way. Don't forget you have to adjust all those things that I named. And, you know, as usual, enjoy your process. And I don't know what you do with it, document it, and it might be great for cards, who knows, or some other thing you can think of to use it for. So, as usual, take care of yourselves and your families, be kind to one another, and hopefully you'll come and join us again here at Shoreline Studio. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and we love doing this for you, and please give us comments, and if you want to see something specific, let me know. And we're on Shoreline Studio on Facebook, and we're on Shoreline Studio 01 on Instagram, and Painterly03 on YouTube. So bye for now.